Halloween is hitting War of the Visions, and I think there's two key things that player would want out of this event. The first one is Halloween Little Leela, and then the second one is Halloween Rare Use TMR. I'll cover these in individual videos as well, but right now we are talking about Halloween Little Leela. For autoplay, I think she will be very strong. She will still be below most cost 100 units. You won't see her see much play over, for example, Black Rose Elena, Dwayne, King Mont, perhaps even Regalia Glaciella. She's slightly below that ballpark. I would fit her similarly to Cloud, so very, very strong, but she will not necessarily always outshine others. For manual play, however, I think she is definitely one of the best possible picks that you could have, and the main reason for that is she is super good, super mobile, very fast, has a lot of utility, and can move around the map very easily, so she's really got a ton of tools to play with. So today we'll take a look at what she does, an overview, her skills, where she'll shine, what are good synergies for her, and just generally whether she's a good investment or not. So let's begin. Halloween Little Leela has an insane range. She already had the Arithmetician super long range poke, but now it gets an increased range with her EX ability, which is kind of insane. Her abilities are all instant cast generally, so that's really, really good due to the Arithmetician sub job. She has high mobility with access to Shikuchi, so move 4, jump 2. Decent evasion. She won't reach to be your levels of evasion, but she might be similar to Tifa levels of evasion, which is okay in a lot of matchups, but not something you can solely rely on to survive. She also has full life, which is some super good utility, and a lot of heals in her Arithmetician sub-job as well. Drawbacks though, she's very fragile, so if she takes a hit, she's likely to go down in a single hit from a lot of attackers in the game. She only has a single damage type. Now you could argue that Ninja has a couple of other things, but they're all physical scaling, so she is not going to use them well at all. So really all she can do is magic damage type, and she does not have magic damage penetration, so she could be completely shut down by a proper build. But still, top tier unit, very competitive both in PvP and PvE. And then yeah, she's a cost 70 unit, which means she is a super easy fit for class match teams, either in auto or in manual gameplay. Now, if we look at her stats compared to some other mages we have in the game, the first thing I notice is that Halloween Little Leela has more agility than the Black Rose, which is kind of insane. She also has agility op passives that she can equip on top of that, so she is extremely fast. She has similar HP to the Black Witch, slightly more than Moore. Moore's pretty bulky though, with all her defenses. Halloween Little Leela does not have that, and she has negative resistances to just about anything except magic, so don't expect her to be tanky. Another thing I notice is her luck is not that high. It's comparable to Black Rose Helena's luck. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to make Black Rose Helena evadey. I have, and it doesn't work that well. It's not a terrible build, but yeah, she will be able to dodge a couple hits with her passives and whatnot, but don't expect her to survive 17 attacks coming her way. She is just not built like that. A good thing, I guess, is a lot of players have had experience with Elena lately, so they know how unreliable evasion can be, and Halloween Little Leela is on the low spectrum of decent evasion units, so expect her to take quite a few hits, but with a decent luck like that, she will be rather accurate, so that is really good. And then she has resistances to Silence and Disable, which are two status effects that completely shut her down, so that's good, but she can still be stopped, she can still be charmed, so these are pretty huge threat. Another fun thing to notice is her magic score is through the roof. 580 is insane, and with that, if she is built for full magic, she can go upwards of 1500, which is Black Rose level, so that is very, very competitive. Now let's get to the fun part, EX upgrades. Her two ability upgrades are fairly interesting. The first one is her damage distribution, which gets an upgrade in the frequency at which it pops, so it's now 30% as much as Aeon Bond, and it drains even more. Now 86% is kind of a hard number. I always have trouble understanding how that works, but I've seen the regular damage distribution fight back for like thousands of damage, so I'm expecting this one to be even more dangerous. It won't proc all the time, it doesn't have such a long range, but especially in auto, where the enemies don't take that into consideration, where they hit your unit and they won't willingly stay out of range of your counter zone, you could potentially turn fights around with that. It has a very, very high proc rate, and if you do survive the hit, you are going to heal back up to probably full with it. So a very good upgrade for her, especially for auto gameplay. And then Iroga gets a higher mod, which is really good. At 165, it is going to be competitive, even if you don't get the level mod. But realistically, you will likely get the damage mod because everybody's playing 120 units right now, and it is a factor of 4. So it's likely to be a 210 mod, which makes it an insanely hard-hitting ability. And then Arithmeticians already have super long-range spells, but this gets an upgraded range. She can hit almost anywhere on the map with that. So overall, a really good upgrade to her abilities. It could be reflected, but it's not really a thing in the game so far, so I don't expect that to be a major issue. Then her new ability is also a very welcome thing in her kit. The main reason being that she now has a way to deal with targets with high spirit. She did not have any way to fight those previously, so now she can use this single target ability and ignore half of the enemy's spirit. It also has 30% more hit chance, which is very decent. Against evasion units, she has decent luck, so if you build her with the Typhon VC, you get some extra accuracy, potentially an Alexandrite ring or something that gives a huge boost to accuracy. She will be able to fight a lot of evasion units. And especially in class matches, for example, we have a lot of Earth Evasion dominance, and she could potentially put a stop to that. The damage of that ability will be similar to Iroga, with the exception that it has Spirit Penetration and is a single target. So if it's a team that's resistant to AoE attacks, you could use that as well and benefit from it. Now here's a simple build I put together. Again, we don't have VCs on anybody but her, so we could increase a lot of other stats if we wanted to. But just using the Typhon Esper and VC, she has 5400 HP, which is squishy range. She will likely get one punched, as I said a couple times, but 1300 magics. I tested, if you add Ramuh on top of that, she goes upwards of 1500, which is crazy. 92 agility is very decent. We could potentially go higher with a Black Rose VC that increases it a little bit more, but it's already really fast as is. And then 388 luck is not terribly high, so she is quite likely to get hit, which is why I would not bother equipping evasion gear on her, unless you're going all in with other VCs that are going to increase luck and evasion, like a Mono Wind team, for example. And keep in mind, she has a crazy range, so even if she's hitting the enemy team, she is quite likely to still be in safety unless they have high range attackers for a couple turns. So if you're running a hate tank, she will not be caught in the same AoEs as your other guys, which is a really good thing. I think HLL will have a really good synergy with other large AoE damage dealers. If you pair her with, for example, a Black Rose Helena, and they both use their super large AoEs together, it is going to be devastating. I've seen Black Rose Helena coupled with Regalia Glaciala to that effect, and it really does a good job. Otherwise, you want to pair her with a hate tank, somebody that's going to draw the heat away from her so that she doesn't get caught in AoEs or any kind of attacks because of how fragile she is. And then if your partners get hit, she has the chance to heal them back up, both with full life and other healing abilities. I like the idea of pairing her with a high faith tank because they have a better healing overall as well. So with a friendly Freyevia, for example, she could probably bring her back to life a couple times, and as long as Freyevia doesn't die from a chain, you're good to go. Otherwise, wind partners will naturally be good for her. They have the same element, they can chain together, and then they give themselves extra stats. And she does somewhat fit the evasion team. If you're going all in for evasion and you get 1 or 2 lucky dodges with her, that's more chances she has to heal back or just finish off the enemies. So definitely good synergies with her. But you will have to avoid a couple units. Mainly Valentin Salir, you see one of those, you run or you die. She will one-shot you with guaranteed hit abilities through your high faith, so that's a really scary matchup. And then a lot of the ice units, like Gilgamesh you avoid, Oron you avoid, they're generally going to one-punch her, and ice is a very accurate element with the Odin VC, so very scary. Freyevia will completely shut you down. She is near immune to magic, and HLL does not have magic penetration much. So it's going to be rough. Even if you have the Typhon VC with the little bit of magic resistance penetration that it gives her, it won't be enough. You will just get wrecked. And then enemies with very long range attacks, if you're not running a hate tank or there's a sniper and they dispelled your hate, she is going to get sniped down and die. I'm especially thinking of somebody like Fina, who has magic scaling ranged attacks whose damage will scale with your own faith as well. She will obliterate you, so make sure that you're either not facing them or you have a tank that's going to take those hits for you, because it will not go well. Overall, I think this is a crazy good pick. I think every player who is looking to make their account stronger should look and consider her, because she is easy to fit in just about any team. Yes, she's good with wind, but a character that can attack from a super long range, heal your team like she can, fits just about anybody. So she is really, really useful and relevant in almost all kinds of content. For PvE, you know, heals, full life, and attacks, that's great. She can also dispel if you need to. She could be a lot of stuff. Arena, if you're fighting the right team, she will do really well. I'm giving her 8 out of 10 just because there's a lot of really dominant cost 100 units, but she's very close to them. Same for Guild Battle. In manual PvP, I don't want to give her a perfect grade, but it would be like 9.8, right? She can move. She's a really good double quicken unit, potentially. There's a lot of strategies that you could use that revolve around her, and as long as you can protect her against the enemy gunners, she will shine quite a bit. And then auto PvP, you run the risk of fighting ice, which could potentially just destroy you, depending on how your strategy is. But overall, she is still a really strong pick, especially considering her low cost. So I think she is the gem of the Halloween event, that and Halloween Rare Use TMR, which is still meta-defining today. It's been out for a year now, and it's super good. So these are the two things that players should not sleep on, in my opinion. So with that said, guys, hopefully you found this interesting. I'm trying a new layout, which is very fun for me. So hopefully you guys like that as well. And then, yeah, as per usual, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.